On the news tonight, Nigerians call for faithful implementation of agreement between ASU and the federal government. Governor Oyetola restates commitment to responsible leadership. Egyptian authorities repatriate Nigerian bandit negotiator. And on the foreign scene, Liz Truss takes oath of office, appoints cabinet. Good evening and welcome to the major reports. I am Kayode Adebayo. In a move to end the 7-month closure of public varsities in the country, the Minister of Education, Adamu, has said government could only afford 23.5% salary increase for lecturers, while a 35% increment will be enjoyed by professors as its last efforts to break the industrial dispute between varsity teachers and the federal government. This was the fallout of the meeting between government, pro-chancellors and vice-chancellors of federal universities aimed at finding lasting solution to the ongoing strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities at the National Universities Commission in Abuja. Recall that the union has been on strike since February over revitalization of public universities, payment of earned academic allowances and deployment of the university transparency and accountability solution for payment of university lecturer salaries, among others. Amid the strike, government had imposed the no work, no pay policy. The minister, who noted that President Muhammadu Buhari warned against signing an agreement that the government will not be able to meet, said the only issue yet to be resolved with ASU is the position of the law on no work, no pay. At the meeting, the Committee of Vice-Chancellors of Nigerian Universities urged government to pay university professors 800,000 naira as against the 1.2 million naira negotiated by the Mini-BRICS Committee. This recommendation will represent a 50% salary increase offer as against the 23% increase being proposed by the federal government. While making efforts to end the strike, the committee further set up a sustainable peace team of elders to resolve the lingering disagreement. Meanwhile, Nigerians have asked the federal government to ensure that the recent success recorded in the negotiations with the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU is not jeopardized. Those who spoke with OSBC News while reacting to the new salary structure released by the federal government noted that full implementation remains the key to averting future crises in the education sector. OSBC reporter Oluchi Amuda's report is presented from our studios.
Beaming in the education sector following the decision by the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU to reach compromise and finally resolve the crisis that have crippled university education in Nigeria. Reacting to this, a legal practitioner and the parent, Mr. Olufemi Ayondokun, described the latest development as a cheering news. He, however, called on the federal government to ensure that the agreement, when fully signed, should be backed up with action and not mere words.
What would expect, and what I believe ASU is trying to do, is to ensure that the new agreements that have been signed, will be cash backed. That means that provision will not just be made for it in the budget, like the federal government has said it will do, to the tune of about, if I remember correctly, about 30 billion naira. Not just that alone, they will be cash backed, such that the money will be lying in there. They cannot but implement the agreements.
While reacting to the call earlier made by the Association of Pro-Chancellors for the formation of another union that will checkmate the activities of ASU and put a permanent stop to the incessant strike action in Nigerian universities, Mr. Benjamin Adebisi was of the opinion that creating another union might not be the solution, saying the government needs to fund and equip other tertiary institutions that the student can apply to and de-emphasize the mad rush for university education.
The university is not the only post-secondary education system. The government could finance others, School of Hygiene, School of Nursing, College of Agriculture, College of teacher schools and all that, so that they can, people or students can just apply to those post-secondary school and give them the prerogative to apply for good jobs and give them good salary. Because the university system in Nigeria, like for more than 20 years or 21 years I've been in the university system, it has never been better.
In his own submission, Mr. Ayodele Oke stated that ASU should devise another means of pushing their demands before the government, as industrial action has become archaic and a non-sustainable method of crisis resolution.
Even if you break their ranks, it doesn't actually make this strike a thing. to be a thing of the past. What I will advise the government to think about is cutting down the expenses on legislators. I mean, members, House of Assembly, House of Rep, the Senate, and even the presidency. They should cut down on what they are being paid.
Nigerians are hopeful that with sustained dialogue between ASU and the federal government, Nigeria may likely smile soon.
In the meantime, the All Progressives Congress has justified the proposed recruitment of 1,500 teachers into the state teaching service. State Chairman of APC, Prince Louis Gaffa Morgan, in a release by his media advisor, Chief Kola Olabisi, noted that recruitment is aimed at boosting manpower in the state education sector. He stated that the appointment of teachers by Governor Adegboyega Ayitola is harmonious to the Constitution, which gives the governor power to recruit into any sector till the expiration of his first term on 27th November 2022. It will be recalled that the transition committee set up by the governor-elect Ademola Adeleke frowned at the approval given by Governor Adegboyega Ayitola for the recruitment of 1,500 teachers. The chairman media subcommittee, Mr. Lawale Rashid, noted that the appointment of additional 1,500 teachers will make the total number of teachers to be recruited in the recent time by Governor Ayitola to 2,500. The committee alleged that the recruitment is a deliberate plot to expand payroll and financially cripple the incoming government. Similarly, Osun State government has stated that the additional recruitment of 1,500 teachers is aimed at ensuring quality manpower in the education sector. The special advisor to the governor on education, Mr. Jami Olawumi, who stated this in an interview with OSBC News, said the new approval followed the initial recruitment of 1,000 teachers earlier in the year. He speaks further.
We have recruited 1,000. And the governor just graciously at the ESCO meeting yesterday that we should complete the figure 1,500. It's not going to be a fresh exercise because we have the database already. We are not going to push people through another rigors of writing exams. They have done it. We have the data, so we are picking the 1,005 after from the leftover of the 3,000 plus, out of which we had recruited 1,000. So it's going to be a very smooth exercise. And for transparency, credibility, the governor graciously approved that we should have a 7-man committee in charge of recruitment exercise.
Governor Adegboyega Ayitola says his administration will continue to be responsible and responsive by delivering on projects designed to make life more meaningful for the citizens across the state. Governor Ayitola gave the perspective in Gagan, the headquarters of Ayedade local government area, during the commissioning of 3.75-kilometer township road. Governor's office correspondent Sanya Onorende has more on the story.
Speaking in Gagan during the official commissioning of 3.75-kilometer township road, Governor Adegboyega Ayitola maintained as a responsible and a responsive government, his administration will continue to live up to his promise in delivering projects designed to make life more meaningful for the citizenry. The governor said that the road linking Chief Adebisi Akande Trumpet Bridge, Olajokun Park, Adenuga Junction, OK Church, Olufi Market in Bagan, the headquarters of Ayedade local government area of the state of Osun, will also enhance socio-economic life and agricultural developments for the residents of Bagan and its environment. It therefore appealed to the road users to demonstrate conscious maintenance of the road and their overall safety.
As a responsible and responsive government, we rose to the occasion to visit to improve the socio-economic development of our people. The rehabilitation of the road will no doubt improve the socio-economic life of the people at the time in significant ways. Besides further giving a facelift to the ancient town, it also increased commercial and agricultural activities with the people of Bogam, neighborhoods and North Telford. The road was rehabilitated through the Ministry of Works and Transport Direct Labour Team.
In his remark, the State Commissioner for Works and Transport
Engineer Remi Omowaye, who lauded Governor Oyetola for outstanding record demonstrated in infrastructural developments across the state, noted that Governor Oyetola remained resolute in his pursuit for a greater state that all citizens will be proud of in the nearest future. Goodwill messages delivered by the representative of the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Honorable Bayo Olodo, the State Chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Prince Boyega Famodun, Olufi of Gbọ̀ngán, Ọba Adetoye Oyeniyi, Chairman, Association of Gbọ̀ngán Progressive Elements, Mr. Saka Owopade, as well as the Southwest Publicity Secretary and Chairman, Erewole Federal Constituency, Mr. Ayo Afolabi, among others, lauded Governor Oyetola for working vigorously despite paucity of funds in ensuring transformational developments unfolding across the state. High point of the occasion was the commissioning of the road project by Governor Adegboyega Oyetola. Dignitaries present at the occasion were the wife of the governor, Mrs. Kafayat Oyetola, the deputy governor, Mr. Benedict Alabi, the secretary to the state government, Prince Wole Oyebamiji, members of the State Executive Council, stewards, and members of the All Progressive Congress from across the state. From the governor's office, Soya Onoide reporting.
The Speaker, Osun State House of Assembly, Honorable Timothy Uweye, says the All Progressives Congress has set record templates in the area of participatory government so much that it can never be beaten anytime soon. Honorable Uweye made the declaration while addressing contestants from 4 local government areas of Osogbo, Olorunda, Irepodo, and Orodu, vying for the chairmanship position under the platform of APC for October 15 local government election. Parliamentary reporter Oluwatosin Oladokun has the details.
In a bid to ensure a seamless and rancor-free primary election, APC chairman in the state, Prince Boyega Famodun, a few days ago put in place local government screening committee chairman and its members across the 9 federal constituencies with the mandate of conducting the screening exercise ahead of the primary election. Osogbo, Olorunda, the federal constituency was made up of the listed 4 local government areas under the watch of the Speaker. Honorable Timothy Uweye had a peaceful exercise. Before the commencement of the screening exercise, Osun State House Assembly Speaker Honorable Timothy Uweye had initially ruled out the mandates the party given to the committee he chaired. Honorable Uweye said the central objective is to conduct a thorough, fair, credible and acceptable screening exercise with a view of presenting masses' choice candidates for October 15 local government election in the state.
We don't want any crisis, any rancor. As far as this exercise is concerned, we know APC to be a disciplined party. Today, we are going to attend to councillors. We don't want to waste the time of the chairman. So we appeal to the chairman to go and come back tomorrow.
The Speaker said that APC has built a society that has unprecedentedly transformed and grown the state in all sides through his participatory government, making it a party to be. Uweye commended and lauded the tenacity and steadfastness of members of the party and advocates for the oneness and progress of the nation's ruling party, reminded them that the issue at hand is surmountable. Thereafter, the exercise started with the verification of required credentials and other related documents. So far, the exercise has been peaceful, and the second leg of the exercise continues tomorrow. Oluwatosin Oladokun, OSBC News.
The Osun State Police Command has called for the cooperation and collaboration of members of the public in the provision of prompt and useful information to the police that will enable the command to serve them better. The Commissioner of Police, Mr. Wale Olokode, made the call while parading some suspected criminals accused of conspiracy, armed robbery, and murder. Here are the details as presented from our studios.
The Osun State Police Command paraded 3 suspected criminals, among whom were a 36-year-old medical doctor, Abbas Adio, 28-year-old Wahab Ahmed, and 31-year-old Adegoke Ayobami. Addressing the press, the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Wale Olokode, who was represented by the Police Public Relations Officer, SP Yemisi Opalola, stated that one of the suspects, Abbas Adio, was clamped down and arrested in Osun upon the receipt of a distress call from Edo State Police Command that the Toyota Camry was snatched in Benin and tracked to Osun. According to the police, The suspect, who claimed to be a medical doctor, traveled from Kwara State to Benin in July this year and engaged the services of a cab driver identified as Emmanuel Oyobo, who is now deceased, whom he exchanged contact with and befriended. The police commissioner noted that the suspect, who had maintained communication with the victim, agreed to buy the car from him for 1.4 million naira, but ended up injecting him with a substance suspected to have led to his death and made away with the car after dumping his corpse in a nearby bush. The two other suspects, Wahab Ahmed and Adegoke Ayobami, were arrested in connection with the death of their friend, identified as Oguntade Wasiu, who was reported missing in Modakeke. He stated that investigation, however, revealed that the suspects and the victim were friends and internet fraudsters, popularly called Yahoo Boys. They discovered that the victim was making more money than them, lured him to an uncompleted building in a bid to collect the money from him, but he got killed in the course of the struggle that ensued. The suspect thereafter made away with the victim's motorcycle.
On behalf of the Commissioner of Police, Osun State Police Command, CP Olawale Oloko, the PSC, not to deviate, that is, we are not going to deviate from his promise, his earlier promise that he is going to ensure that this state, this command, is freed of criminal elements.
The suspects confirmed the stories to newsmen.
Please, for the sake of nothing my God, don't call me, just take me and we cooperate with you.
Mr. Olokode assured the people that all the suspects will be charged to court as soon as investigation is concluded, just as he urged members of the public to continue to give useful and prompt information to the police for effective service delivery.
The lead negotiator between the Nigerian government and bandits in northern Nigeria, Tuko Mamu, who was arrested in Cairo, Egypt, has been repatriated to Nigeria. Reports say Mamu arrived at Kano International Airport and was promptly arrested by the operatives of the Department of State Services. He has been vocal about his role in negotiating the freedom of persons kidnapped by bandits from a train en route to Kaduna from Abuja in late March. You are now welcome to our sports segment. The importance of sports as a veritable instrument for building peace and unity across borders cannot be underestimated. This explains the fight against doping in order to protect not only the physical and mental health of the athletes, but also to preserve the ethics and as well sustain the value of sporting activities. In this special report, Omatayo Adebodo of our sports desk takes a look at the impact of doping on the athletes in the past, the present, and what is expected in the future. The report.
Origin of doping in sports dates back to the very creation of sport itself, from ancient usage of substance in chariot racing to more recent controversies in doping in baseball, tennis, Olympic Games, and cycling. The general trend among authorities and sporting organizations over the past several decades has been to strictly regulate the use of drugs in sport. The reason for the ban are mainly the health risk of performance-enhancing drugs, the equality of opportunities for the reasons for the ban are mainly the health risk of performance-enhancing drugs, the equality of opportunities for athletes, and the exemplary effects of drug-free sport for public. A sport enthusiast, Mr. Peter Abobi, said the banning of these drugs promotes a level playing field and equality among these athletes, despite the visible improvement in performance noted in countless athletes throughout several centuries. It was also noted that the athletes would often suffer adverse health effects and even premature death. These adverse outcomes and death leads to the first ban on doping by the International Association of Athletics Federation in 1928.
The abuse use of drugs generally is discouraged because it tampers with the future and the trust people have, especially on Nigerians. When you see many Nigerians in diaspora, people seems to be far away from them because they have this notion of they are drugs addict or users or inappropriate drug users, and I think it's something that we need to discourage in all its entirety.
The ban proved to be inadequate, however, as the ability to test for banned substances was quite limited in that time. In 1967, the International Olympics Committee, IOC, banned doping, and in 1999, the IOC led the initiative to form the World Anti-Doping Agencies. Today, World Anti-Doping Agencies form the backbone of anti-doping law and testing worldwide, as well as assist in setting the standard for other agencies and sports. Various penalties can be enforced upon athletes found in the violation of the anti-doping code. Many athletes found in violation of the code have previously suffered punishment ranging from being stripped of Olympic medals or sports titles to lifetime ban from future competition in the sport.
I think it begins with the orientation, proper orientation, because charity begins at home. Even the family also have a role to play. Why they talk to their children, groom them, and make them to have the fear of God. And the government also should set up a panel where this youth could be properly oriented, coached to know what the future lies for them.
Incidents of doping or consuming performance-enhancing drugs are a rare occasion in football as compared to other sporting fields like athletics. Football players are more careful with dope tests being conducted. Diego Maradona was also at the receiving end of doping controversy, particularly in 1994 during the FIFA World Cup in the United States. The legendary Argentine player was apparently sent home during the tournament after testing positive for 5 variants of ephedrine, a stimulant banned by FIFA. In 2001, Pep Guardiola was still a professional football player and he was slapped with a ban for consuming a banned substance. The most recent case of a footballer being banned for violating anti-doping rule is Andre Onana. The goalkeeper plays for Ajax then and was found having taken a medicine allegedly prescribed originally for his wife. He was banned for 12 months from all footballing activities, which hampered his potential big move to European club. Maria Sharapova at the Australian Open in 2000, a couple of days after Royce Jones Jr. defeated Richard Hall to retain his undisputed World Light Heavyweight Championship in Indianapolis. He tested positive. Lance Armstrong admitted to using performance-enhancing drug in an interview with Oprah Winfrey in 2013, among others. Going down the memory lane, Nigerian athletes have not been excluded in doping violations. Chioma Ajunwa, the first Nigerian to win gold at the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta and the first black African woman to win an Olympic gold medal in field event, allegedly failed to pass a drug test in 1992, and she was eventually banned for 4 years from competing. Blessing Okabare is currently serving a 10-year ban for breaching multi-world athletics anti-doping rule. Her ban expires 30th of July 2031. She, however, said her lawyer are looking into the case. Tosin Adeloye, Folashade Abugan, Mary Onyale, Daniel Effiong, and most recent, Grace Onwokocha, who won gold in the 4x100 meter relay at this year's Commonwealth Game, has been professionally suspended for the use of banned substance. Regulation and testing by many agencies, including WADA and the IOC, aim to decrease the incidence of doping and completely eliminate its use in sport. However, given the importance placed on athletic achievements, the frame awarded to elite athletes in today's culture, and the rapid development of new performance-enhancing therapies, it's likely that doping will be a problem that will continue for many years to come. Omotayo Adebodun, OSBC News.
And on the foreign scene, the United Kingdom's Prime Minister Liz Truss has formed a new government at the formal request of Queen Elizabeth II. The extensive reshuffle saw 15 new faces in top government positions, while 16 members from the previous cabinet will stay in the newly formed cabinet. And that ends the media report on OSBC TV. It was edited by Temitope Abdulkarim. I am Kayode Adebayo. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Earlier, Brandon Lewis has been named Justice Secretary.